Hello, and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Yep, another video without face cam. Can you tell how much I changed my schedule around this last month? I did a portrait of several iconic Jokers back in the summer when the media was really starting to hype us up for the release of the new Joker movie, and I wasn't sure how or when I was going to put it up here on YouTube. Part of me wanted to do it as a film review, but I wasn't sure if we'll get out to see it anytime soon enough after release to get a review out while it's relevant. So I decided to put it out just before release day. I'll run through each of the Jokers depicted here, what they mean to me, why I included them, all that stuff, and then we'll geek out about the upcoming film and predictions. Before we get there, if you're new here, please do subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday at minimum, and some weeks I have bonus content as well. I'm an art channel, so that means lots of art time-lapse footage like this. Sometimes it's story time, sometimes it's tutorials, and sometimes it's a product review. But sometimes I switch things up and do a craft instead. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment down below. I really do appreciate it. I read all your comments and I do reply to everyone. Are you excited about the new Joker movie? Which version of the Joker is your favorite? I have a strong feeling this Joker is going to be my new favorite, but right now I still love Heath Ledger's Joker the most. So along the front row, I've drawn the Joker as portrayed by Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix, and Jack Nicholson. In the back we have Jared Leto's Suicide Squad Joker, and Mark Hamill colored in the style of the early 1990s Batman the Animated Series. Let's run through and talk about each of them, shall we? I think we'll go in chronological order. I was born in 1988, and Jack Nicholson played the Joker in the 1989 Batman film opposite Michael Keaton, directed by Tim Burton. This is the film that was played on all the kids' TV networks when I was a kid, prior to the more comical films in the mid to late 90s, and the film that directly preceded the previously mentioned animated series. Nicholson's Joker, formerly the lesser criminal Jack Napier, was directly responsible for the creation of Batman. A young Jack Napier murdered Bruce Wayne's parents and then later found himself disfigured after losing a fight with a vat of chemicals, which is when he took on the alias of the Joker along with a few others and became Gotham's Prince of Chaos. This Joker is dark, cunning, and truly insane. He's also a true foil to Batman's hero role. Every antagonist needs a hero, and Joker created his. 1992 to 1995 was the original run of Batman the Animated Series, later rerun under the series titled The Adventures of Batman and Robin. This was on TV throughout the 90s, and it's truly the backbone of my love for the Batman franchise. Frankly, I'm amazed that the nerdy Star Wars loving kid I was never realized that Mark Hamill himself was the voice behind the Joker in this series and later animated portrayals. You may notice as the footage goes along here that I colored Mark Hamill's Joker in the original animated series style, but not in the Nicholson white face paint color we see when he's well lit. I wanted it to be different, so I took inspiration from how the animators played with casting environmental colors on him whenever the opportunity struck. This Joker was green, purple, or blue just as often as he was clownishly white. This Joker was also meant to have been Jack Napier in his past, but unlike Nicholson's Joker, he's much, much harder to kill. This is also the first Joker to be seen with Harley Quinn, who's always been another of my favorites. Of course, after these Batmans came the famously terrible Val and George Batmans of 1995 and 1997, with the comically goofy portrayals of the villains The Riddler by Jim Carrey, Poison Ivy by Uma Thurman, Two-Face by Tommy Lee Jones, and Mr. Freeze by Arnold Schwarzenegger. I actually really enjoyed those films as a kid, but I avoid watching them now because I want to continue remembering enjoying them and not potentially spoil it by watching them now in my 30s and accidentally realizing how truly bad they were. They also lacked the Joker, which in my opinion is a big oversight. But around 1998 or so, I stopped looking out for Batman content as I headed into adolescence and focused more on hard sci-fi, building robots, and volunteering at a local history museum. And it seems Hollywood took a break from Batman as well. I didn't return to the franchise until the second Nolan film in 2008, but that means I only missed one in 2005. Then Heath Ledger was announced as the Joker, and I became interested again. Why? Well, if you were interested in teen chick flicks in the 90s, then you watched Clueless and 10 Things I Hate About You. Heath Ledger played the bad boy love interest in the latter, along with Julia Stiles and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Then in 2005, Heath Ledger played the peasant boy turned knight William Thatcher in A Knight's Tale, and we 90s kids interested in men fawned all over him again. And those who didn't fawned over him in Brokeback Mountain. So yes, his past roles got me interested. Then he died before the film was released, and the whole world took notice. There were rumors flying immediately that it was suicide or accidental but linked to illegal drugs, and that the character got to him. It was revealed later that his death was an accidental overdose due to combining prescription drugs that never should have been prescribed together, and I remember that starting quite the reform in prescriptions. What gets me now is how young he was. He was 28, due to turn 29 later that year. I'm 31 now, and it's heartbreaking to realize that I'm already 3 years older than he'll ever be. Apparently he really enjoyed the role, and he was planning to reprise it in the next film. And his sister has said in interviews that they were talking and laughing on the phone the night before his death. I firmly believe now that it was accidental. His portrayal of the Joker was unique and revolutionary. Unlike Nicholson and Hamill's Jokers, who were Jack Napier in their pasts, this Joker has no particular past that can be pinned down. He's one of the only Jokers to have face scars due to mutilation with specific intent, rather than massive disfigurement from an event involving large amounts of dangerous chemicals. It's not clear whether or not this Joker killed Mr. and Mrs. Wayne and started Bruce on his path to become Batman. He's the best embodiment so far of the comic book Joker who said, "If I'm going to have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice." This Joker is highly intelligent and just as highly unhinged. He causes chaos for the sake of chaos and revels in setting up no-win scenarios and then leaving it up to the people caught in the trap to decide how it ends. Notably, he didn't die in The Dark Knight, and we can assume that meant he was supposed to show up again in The Dark Knight Rises. This is currently my favorite version of the Joker because he's the most intriguing. I like a good villain, and he's most definitely a good villain. I enjoy watching Christian Bale and Michael Caine on screen, and I think they did a fine job with their trilogy tenure with the franchise. I also really enjoyed watching them together in The Prestige. But in my mind, they're always an afterthought after Ledger's Joker. It's a shame we couldn't see that Joker again. Then we come around to Jared Leto's Suicide Squad Joker. I wasn't impressed with the promotional material, and I was not at all excited for this Joker. I don't think many people were. I knew this wasn't going to be anything close to Heath Ledger's Joker, and we weren't expecting him to be. I didn't like his appearance. He looks like a green-haired, try-hard gangster with too many tattoos and a mouthful of silver fillings. I didn't see Suicide Squad in theaters, or for a long time after it was out on disc. When I finally did see it though, I changed my mind a little. I still don't like the way he looks, and he's not my favorite, but I don't hate him as much as I thought I would. This is a young, more inexperienced Joker. He's bad, but he hasn't done his worst yet. He actually cares about Harley Quinn, and sometimes he even learns from her. This Joker is unique to me because he shows growth as a character outside of the routine character growth we normally see in the character, if you can call it that, as the character becomes Joker from whoever he used to be. And now here we are, less than a week away from the release of the 2019 Joker. This is supposed to be an entirely new story about the Joker. We have a new former name for him, Arthur Fleck. This film is an origin story. We're going to see Arthur, the failed comedian. We're going to see Arthur, the caregiver to his mother, who seems far too young and physically whole to need a caregiver, yet she does. We're going to see Arthur, the psychiatric patient, struggling to present as normal and fit in. We're going to see all of these things get to him and watch him crack. I've heard theories that he and his mother both suffer from schizophrenia, and that the Joker isn't real, but rather how he sees himself during psychosis. I've heard theories that his mother isn't real, but rather a personification of his struggle to care for and protect himself mentally. I predict we will see some version of Joker murdering Mr. and Mrs. Wayne, but I don't think we're going to see many familiar Gotham faces. I don't know if this is meant to be a standalone film, but whether it is or not, I don't think it'll end with the Joker's death, and if it does, I think there will be a hint that he isn't really dead. I also think this version of Joker might become my favorite. I'm a sucker for a really well-told story about a mentally ill character, regardless of which side of the line between good and evil the character falls on. Psychology fascinates me, and I love a character who's struggling with their own mind. What about you? If you're seeing this before you see Joker, what are your predictions? And if you're seeing it after, what did I get right or wrong? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you again very soon. Expect lots of bonuses this month, since it's Inktober, and be sure to follow me on Instagram in particular if you want to see everything I'm up to. Bye!